Sure.
We're
Good
live.
morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show. I am Dana Dubois.
I'm Lawrence Winterman.
We have a hell of a show here, you guys. It is Fucked Up Friday. We have the fabulous Lev Parnas joining us for
Woo.
Fucked Up Friday, but we also have breaking news, and we have brought Dr. G, also known as your weirdo friend, on to talk about this breaking news. Lawrence, what is the correct order of operations here? My head is exploding this morning
Yeah.
with how much we have to talk
Well,
about.
Lev is. We talked to Lev a little for a couple minutes beforehand. He's so gracious. He totally gets the situation that's going on with Dr. G, and Dr. G only has a couple minutes here with us. So we'd love it, Dr. G, if you could tell everyone what's going on. I mean, like, not to bury the lead, Facebook, Substack deleted your account and is fucking with you in substantial ways right now. What is happening?
Yeah, yeah. So as I mentioned to Lev before we got on, I am an out transgender professor, and I study the technical communication of mass cooperation. And so when I realized that democracy was not democracy-ing, I went and got some. So I've been studying again community organizing for over 2 decades. Just the how-to of it, the brass tacks of how people actually do it on the ground in their neighborhoods. So then I got some training from the International Center for Nonviolent Conflict and other organizations that understand how to topple authoritarian regimes. And I created this very friendly and non-threatening way of community organizing called the Daisy Chain. And I think that I struck a nerve because I was just happily uploading one of my videos, and then I got an error message, blacked out, and then shenanigans have ensued to the point that in addition to my account, people trying to create spoof accounts, I'm also now blocked out of my account. And I guess the upside of that is that I think more people are talking about the daisy chain than they were before. So whoever did this, you done messed up.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's a great point, Dr. G. Like, it's going to be a Streisand effect thing, right? Where because they are trying to silence you and suppress your voice, it's going to end up amplifying you and making you bigger. And Lev, you were saying right before we went on that this is one of your fears, right? That at
Yep.
one day we're going to wake up and Substack's going to be down, and we're all going to be like, oh shit, all my
Yep.
stuff is gone.
All my stuff and
Absolutely.
all my community, right?
Right.
Well, that's the biggest thing. That's one of the things I talk about every day when I finish off my Substack, whatever news or letters I talk about. I said, we need to build and become strong and as powerful as quick as we can, and be able to, because that's the only way our voices will be allowed. Because yes, I mean, just think about what Elon Musk did with Twitter. He went and overpaid over $20 billion, folks.
Yep.
He paid like 42 billion for a company that wasn't valued, I think, at 20 million at the time. Don't quote me, but for what?
Yeah,
Because
that's right.
to him, it was a matter of just peanuts to be able to suppress our voices, to be able to take away our First Amendment right, which he proposed, on the pretense of giving us the First Amendment right, making it better for him. But if you saw the transformation, he basically used Twitter to help that far right agenda to be able to be pushed and to give them such a loud voice. So, I mean, what makes Substack any different? I mean, it's owned by a tech guy. I don't know much about him. I'm not here to bash him. Hopefully, he would do the right thing. But when there's so much money on the table, a lot of these guys, it's about the money. They build these platforms, and then they end up selling them. Look what's happening right now with CNN and all of these things with the Ellensons. I mean, perfect example of that. I mean, part of what is transpiring in our society right now is for authoritarianism and dictatorship to take control. They have to take away your First Amendment right. They have to take away also for you to be able to have sources of information from different places to be able to make your own common decisions. If you take a look at any of these countries like the Soviet Union, North Korea, or China, one of the things they all control is social media. They all control the media. They all control what's being said. The only people out there that are really getting a world is people that are, minor percentages that use other VPNs and are technology inclined to figure out how. But the majority of those people are brainwashed, and that's why they believe. That's why you have 93% people voting for Vladimir Putin, because if you have generations, if he's been in office for 30 years, and you got think about how many kids were born in those 30 years there, and now born know that he is a leader. That's what brainwashing and authoritarian is. Exactly. And that's what's happening here right now. That's why right now, there's a lot of things happening. And one of the things they're trying to do is take away, like, look, Dr. G, I told her right before we got in here, I think I am 100% behind her advocacy, for her to be able to speak for her community, for her to be able to go out there and be that voice, and for them to be able to try to already suppress it and to try to block it. It's a perfect example, as we always say, if they could do it to her, well, think about what they could do to any one of us anytime, because if they don't agree with the message or the community we're trying to build.
Yeah,
Then we know,
100%.
Dr. G goes by they them pronouns.
I apologize. They know. I apologize, Dr. G.
It's okay.
I'm new to a lot of this stuff.
sentiments
I'm an old school guy, but I'm learning, and I appreciate that.
You're
They,
good.
them.
Gender is hard. Don't worry. You're,
No, God bless
you're
you.
still fine.
Thank you. They them. I got it.
Yeah,
You're
thank you,
good.
Lev. That was and Dr. G, I know we only have you for a few minutes. Can you walk a little through the timeline? What's happened and where you are now? Because I know you have a new account, and I tried to add you, and it said that you had me blocked, and I'm pretty
No.
sure that's not true. So tell us like what the state of things are, and if there's any place where we can find you.
Yeah. So right now it appears that I am also blocked out of my account. But this is, I guess, before I talk about the timeline, I do want to say that if you can access, if my friends who are listening to this can access the daisy chain, like going to @YourWeirdoFriend, if it's not locked out, I want to encourage everybody to download the shit out of that stuff and just spread it like wildfire, because it's not my story, it's our story. I was just synthesizing the ways that communities have always organized and cared for each other when their backs are against the wall. So that's the first thing I want to say before I forget. But yeah, I'm blocked out of my account right now. I will come back, because whoever tried to do this, you need to understand that when people try to silence me, I just get louder. So I'm not necessarily sure if I will get back into that account, which was @YourWeirdoFriend. There are some weird duplicates. I also want to say this. If you see a duplicate account, please do not add your payment information, because I have never included or turned on payments. So you might be paying somebody who is not me. So please don't do that. So I really want to care for the people who read my stuff. And I think most people know that I've been doing that intentionally, in part because I knew that one of the first things that I saw in January of 2025, yeah, we're living in dog years right now, is that trans people and Black creators, especially Black women creators and trans creators on Substack, got attacked very early and often. And the first point of weakness was attacking their Stripe payments. Right. And so I think, to Lev's point, Lev was right that they test out people that they think that you're not going to care about. We're the canaries in the coal mine. And so it's really important to get loud for people whose First Amendment rights are being violated. And also to understand that, like, we still have the right to fucking talk, even if they're like, oh, you don't get to talk. Like, I'm sorry, you don't get to tell me what to do. Like, that's things that you think you can, right? Like, that's because fascism is a con game, right? It's the ultimate confidence game. There are more of us than there are of them. And if we're like, fuck you, make me, like, we have more of a chance of prevailing in this, especially if we work in our neighborhoods. But the timeline, honestly, Dana, I just was editing a darn video, and then I got an error message, and then just shenanigans ensued. I suspect that what happened, because I am in the federal dockets. I think that my phone was hacked. I had Substack on my phone, and I didn't have my VPN on. And I'm pretty sure that was the point of weakness for all of this stuff.
So this was yesterday, Dr. G? Or?
Yeah, this started yesterday. Yeah. So, like, I've just had a wild 48 hours. but yeah, but I've also been messed with. I want to be just very clear. I've been messed with since the summer. If you go back to see some of my earlier stuff with Ellie Leonard, our mics were like an air horn sound was covering over Ellie and
I
I.
was on that live. What
Yeah,
was that?
that. Yeah.
You had
So
to shut down and restart.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah, the real enemy here is and we spoke right before we went on, and you mentioned something that is extremely important is the movement, the white Christian nationalist movement. They're the ones behind a lot of this stuff going on. They're the ones that are pushing it and using it, and we are seeing a movement, and it's being incredibly crazy, but it's being run by people like Stephen Miller, Russell Vaught. I'm saying to you that you can't even imagine, and they are targeting communities like yourself and others, like you said, all minorities, all different communities, to be able to, they want to make it back to the 1920s, 1930s, pure white, no immigrants, god forbid you might be LGBTQ or any other, god forbid you be a different color and everything like that. God forbid a woman has the right to vote. Just think about this. Women's rights, a simple thing like getting an abortion, that each and every woman should have the right to her own body, even medically inclined. Today, in a communist country like Russia, you could go do it. Any woman could go do it. In America, you can't. In certain states in America, you could go to jail. Just think about where we're living in. Think about the country that we have grown because of our First Amendment right, that we have grown, that everybody looks up to, because people, any community, could go out there and speak and have their rights immune, and now they're shutting those rights by going after like Dr. G and others in the community. So we need to all unite, stand together, because and the one thing I want to make it clear to a lot of people out there, some people might not agree with Dr. G, some people might not agree with transgender. You know what? It's not about that. Today, if they're going after Dr. G, they're going to go after you. It's about free speech. And that's why today I tell everybody, throw the policies out. Don't look at what the actual policy. What we need to do is unite against what we all are as human beings. All of us have the right for free speech. And if we do not lose that right, then we could get back to each and every one of our communities being able to advocate for ourselves and to be able to have a better life, because that's what they're trying to stop. So I applaud you, Dr. G. Keep up the fight. Everybody needs, support, and Ellie's great. You guys are great. So definitely, I'm with you guys on that.
Thank you so much, Lev. And Dr. G, I want to be respectful of your time. I know that you've got to go really soon. So the call to action is, if you can access the daisy chain, please go and download it. And we've got confirmation from the chat. Sushi Philiac just said that they were able to access. So thank you for that, Sushi. And everyone else, if you can do that, make sure that you spread the daisy chain method far and wide. And Dr. G, is there another call to action at this moment? Or like, we don't know if people can subscribe to you, right? We don't know if you've got an account that's active.
Yeah. Well, in terms of Substack, I will put my writing out there, and people will find me. And wherever I go, I know that people will follow me, because voices of integrity are pretty far and few between in these times. But I wanted to just, as an exiting point, go back to what Lev said. It's okay if you don't understand me. And there's a difference between agreement and understanding. And I think a lot of what strongmen do is they find social groups you don't even know that you know, and they create a narrative about them that they're hurting children and they're hurting women, and wouldn't you know, they're the ones hurting women and children. And also, this is the last piece, they used transgender people as a Trojan horse to attack cisgender women's reproductive rights. They went after youth, young people's ability to access gender affirming care, and adults, and now they're saying, oh, birth control is now a harmful hormone, right? And this was always the point. So I think it's really important for people to understand you can't really hate somebody you don't know. And I think one of the reasons why folks went after me is because, in addition to doing this work on the daisy chain, I think it was rather inconvenient for them to see, oh gosh, here is this transgender person who is not hiding that part about themselves, being very friendly and neighborly, offering people a way to get together in their communities. And boy, don't you know, that's really tough, because Trump said when Bukele was in the office, I tell my Republicans, don't talk about trans people until the midterms. And I have waited. I know that he is about to unroll some fuckery in Fucked Up Friday, I'll point out. And so I think that they're really trying to press silencing trans voices now so that the only person with the mic when they get to the midterms are people like them. And fuck that.
Man, fuck that. I get it.
For as long as we have mics, we will be championing on your behalf.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
My Fucked Up Friday story is related to this, so stay tuned and listen, you'll hear it.
Yeah, and
I
Dr.
think I
G,
found...
I'm sorry, just quickly. Dr. G is an example of a lot of communities out there. And I want to again say, you don't have to agree with her policy. I'm sorry, with they, them policies. You don't have to agree with Dr. G, with what she's saying to you, but you have to agree with one thing. If they could do it to them, if they could do it to this community, they could do it to any community. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, if you're Black, if you're Jewish, if you're a different religion, if they don't agree with what you say, and that's what we're talking about. So that's why people need to look past the policies, look past and getting to know, understanding. You know, I'm saying to you, learning is great, because when you get to understand what is true, most of it is propaganda. And remember, I was part of that propaganda machine. I was part of putting the Trump mega machine, so I know how they work. And you know, transgender was a major subject that we hit on. You know, women in sport. And then you see the same thing. The few subjects they hit on that they're pushing and they're misrepresenting, like Dr. G said about who's abusing kids and what's happening. But because they have the platforms, because they got people like Elon Musk that went and bought Twitter, turned it into X, and turned it into a far right, you know, mega machine. And that's why, like we started the conversation, we need to unite. We need to make sure that we stand for each other and not allow them to take away our First Amendment right, which is to speak truth to power and to be able to go. So, Dr. G, I appreciate
you, Lev. And thank you all for having me. And I hope you have, I don't want to say the best Fucked Up Friday, because it feels like that would be not the right word. Yeah. But I hope that something makes you genuinely laugh today, because I feel like fascism tries to scare you out of noticing the things that are beautiful in the world. So please go notice something that makes you want to be here today. So
and
thank you for having me.
Let you know that you have our commitment, me and Dana and the Daily Whatever Show. We are 100% on your side. We will amplify your message in whatever way we can and support you in whatever way we can. So please let us know what's going on with updates, and we will make sure that the bigger community knows as well. Thank you.
Super. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks, Dr. G.
Bye.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Phew.
Lev, oh my gosh, you are such a mensch. Thanks for letting us do that. We really appreciate it.
No, I think you guys, first of all, you know, I think it's a really important subject. And again, I take the politics out of it. I take the policies out of it, because when you get into policies, then you spend a lot of time defending or discussing about transgender and that issue. That's not the issue. It's not the issue if you're Black, if you're white, if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, if you're transgender, if you're gay, it's not the issue. The issue is we all are human beings. We all have the right to be able to have our First Amendment right. We all have the right to be able to vote. We all have the right to do it. We might not agree with each other. We might not disagree, but that's what's being taken away. Our vote, our right, not only to vote, but to also agree or disagree with each other. We have to be brainwashed to believe that it's a certain right. The last time that happened, that was called Nazis, Hitlerism, when it was the pure white race, where you could only believe in one thing and nothing else. And that's part of what's 100%. Trying to be erased now. So I actually appreciate you for having Dr. G on. I apologize for maybe misrepresenting. You know, I'm new to it, but I think Dr. G understood, and they them will, you know, and I'm learning to the community.
Yeah, we all are, right? Like you know, I'm a gay Jewish man. I grew up kind of coming to terms with my own sexuality, and I had to struggle to kind of learn like transgender issues and pronouns and kind of how to be respectful. You know, just you know, and yeah, it's hard, right?
No, but it's important. Yeah, go ahead, Dana.
My younger daughter went through a gender journey a few years back, and I launched a publication for parents and caregivers who were trying to learn. And my ethos was always like, treat an honest mistake honestly and move on.
Right.
There's
That's
nothing wrong with a mess up and you keep going and you learn. It's when you're intentionally
right.
misgendering, when you're intentionally
Yeah. Yeah. Like
that's
using it to try to beat somebody up.
And I
yes.
appreciate that, and that really, I want to thank Dr. G for that, because they then was kindly enough to understand that I didn't do it on purpose, and that
Oh, yeah.
was good.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely.
I think we all kind of know your heart now, by now, Lev. Like
Thanks,
we watched
thanks,
the
guys.
documentary, like we see you
Thanks,
on
guys.
Substack all the time.
I
You're talking
appreciate
Yes.
to Ellie and Dean and Zev, and
that.
we know
That,
you. We know
that's
who
our
you
wolf
are.
pack. That's our wolf pack.
Yes.
That's our
Yep.
family.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. You feel like it's so wonderful to have you on the show because it feels like a familiar coming on, even though you don't know us. I'm sure that happens to you a lot because
But I watch
you're
you guys. I you don't even know, but I do. Because I've watched you
oh,
and Ellie, and you
Oh,
guys go
thanks.
on. Yeah, absolutely. I always
oh,
see actually Lawrence come up and Dana. So I definitely have watched you, and I think you guys, are great, and I'm looking forward to helping you grow your platform, because I think part of what we have on Substack, and part of, I think, starting, even it all tunes back to the conversation of them trying to take away somebody's First Amendment speech, as for us to unite. And we were just talking about that yesterday, that we have so many great platforms here on Substack, and everybody's doing such great work. Can you imagine if we were to unite and build it? How much? Just think about what
yeah.
we did at the State of the Swamp in
Yeah.
Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Miles Taylor put together. We were all there. Ellie was there. I was there, and there was so many great people there. Even our Substack subscribers, we had over 250 million hits of
Yeah.
views
I
of
was
that.
there.
Yeah.
I was watching.
You were there. That's
No, I wasn't there in person. I was watching.
yeah, right.
No.
If,
So
But
that's
our buddy Cliff Schechter was there. I know that you got
Cliff.
a
Yeah,
chance to
Cliff.
hang out with Cliff,
And me,
and
Cliff
Ellie,
is
of
great.
course, was there. And
Cliff was great. Yeah, me and Cliff hit it off. He actually then was following me at the airport. I had to tell Cliff, stay back. No, I'm
I
joking.
saw that
I'm,
post.
I'm joking. No, but I was going through security. I hear somebody laugh, and I see, oh, it's Cliff. I was like, come on, like we were going different places, but yeah, Cliff is
Right.
great. It was just a great time. But thanks for having me. And usually, I'm just gonna give a little warning to my crowd out there. Typically, we do not curse. I try to, because we have a lot of different. But today, it's a special show. It's called Effed-Up Friday. So enjoy yourselves. For those of you that don't want to hear it, tune away. We're gonna have some fun, give some good information, but we're
Yes.
also gonna enjoy ourselves. So I'm here with you guys. Let's rock and roll.
Thanks. Yeah, the fucked up Friday is said with tongue very much in cheek, because it's literal. We started this to document the kind of the, like, we didn't want to be boiled frogs, and we week over week wanted to pause and say these are the, like, truly fucked up things that are happening. But we've made it a competition. For those of you who are new here, we're going to each compete and pitch our stories, and we're doing that to keep things light, like Dr. G said, to have a moment of levity and community, as we're like, we cannot believe this is all happening around us. But
I
these
love the
are
way you
all
say
very
levity.
yes, a bit of levity. Levity. Oh, I like that. Also, because why would everything not be blowing up this morning? I have a dog. You can probably hear her barking.
Love
She
it.
has she has hookworm. I found out yesterday.
Oh,
So she's
Oh,
already been outside 2 or 3 times, and I
Hook
might
her
need to
up.
go open the back door and let her out.
do
Y'all
your
want to
thing.
take a
I
walk
got
with
2 of
me, or
them.
should I mute
Yeah,
for a minute?
no, we're with you. It's live.
We'll
This is
take a
what it's all
walk
Yeah.
about. Yeah,
to see my
go
messy
for it.
house.
Hey,
Don't worry
Lev,
about it.
I
Yeah,
don't
go
think
ahead,
it's
Lev.
possible that anyone doesn't know who you are, but just in case, do you want to, like, give folks kind of the quick synopsis of your background and kind of how you ended up here on Substack doing what you do?
Sure. For those of you that don't know me, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I mean, first of all, I was born in the Soviet Union, immigrated here in 1976.
Nice.
Actually, this is my 50th anniversary this year. In June, it's going to be 50 years since I've
Congratulations.
immigrated. Yeah, it's really a big, I can't even believe it. Me and my sister and my wife were talking about 50 years since we've, immigrated here to the United States. My life started out really interesting back when in Vienna, not Vienna, in Rome, when we were waiting, because when we were leaving the Soviet Union, we were originally supposed to go to Israel. That's where all the Jews that were being persecuted out of Soviet Union back then were being sent to Israel. But while we were in Rome, it was the bicentennial 200-year anniversary. It's just crazy. Today is the 250. I mean, this year is the 250th year
Right.
anniversary. So 50 years ago was the 200th bicentennial anniversary, America, and Italian ambassador showed up in Rome. The United States ambassador to the Italy showed up in Rome, and they had it was called, I don't know, it was like a lottery, but basically they were giving out 200 green cards, not visas, but 200 green cards to 200 people that were able to go straight to America and literally fast track themselves into.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like green cards are hard.
Yeah.
Some people it takes 10, 11 years just to get a green
Yeah.
card. I mean, it's just especially. And me and my sister won. Me and my sister won a green card.
You both
And
got one.
yeah, and
Remarkable.
it was a remarkable. And as I write in my book, we went from the land of went from the land of honey to the land of opportunity,
Yeah.
and we ended up going to the United States, and we immigrated into a little place called Brighton Beach, which is now called Little Odessa. It's in Brooklyn. It's a little enclave where Jewish immigrants, Russian, Ukrainian immigrants were settled in, and that's where I grew up. I grew up, my life took me into a lot of different things. One of the things that happened at 15 years old, without going too deep, I recommend you read the book or go watch Rachel Maddow's documentary, because otherwise we'll spend hours here. But I had a fortune to work for Fred Trump, Donald Trump's father, when I was 15 years old, selling real estate. And I think even those little pieces of stuff that happened through my life and my career have put me into a position to where I am now able to speak truth to power and be able to try to save our democracy a little bit. But fast forwarding it, I've worked odds and ends. I've worked from some of the most powerful mobsters in the world, from Russian to Italian, to some of the most powerful oligarchs. I've known Vladimir Putin when he was mayor of Leningrad, before he even became, back in
Wow.
89, 90. I know his top 5 oligarchs that sit around him. There's almost, when the FBI arrested me, they said I had more information in my Rolodex of that they couldn't even imagine the names. So
That's incredible.
I've been incredibly unfortunate, in my life to be able to see certain things and visit. And that's what brought me to eventually 2016, when our paths collided with Trump. Without going too deep into the story, we became very close very quickly. And eventually, between my relationship with him and Giuliani, it turned into where I was sent on a mission to, it started with digging up dirt on the Bidens, that turned into manufacturing dirt on the Bidens, which we saw transform. And, after getting arrested, going through the whole thing, I truly understood I was losing my family, because I understood that I turned into somebody that I wasn't, because part of what I talk about, write about, and speak about is a lot of people don't realize that MAGA is a cult. Not everybody that says they're MAGA are part of the cult, because you have a lot of fake actors that are using it financially or for their personal gains. But majority of the people in MAGA that are, from the Midwest, from the places around the country that don't have college degrees, that don't never voted, never tuned in politics. That was the base that because I was with Brad Pascal and the team of targeting that group, that 30% of the United States that was so far right that the national Christian, like what we were just talking about, Christian nationalism, that's part of that, circle that we targeted. And I went from being Trump's number one guy to, I was the original Steve Witkoff. So when you see Steve Witkoff, I was the original Steve Witkoff. And then I ended up testifying in Congress to save Joe Biden from his false impeachment. I've also given plenty of evidence in Trump's impeachment and his first impeachment. So I've written a book, I've had a documentary, and eventually my son Aaron, which a lot of you might know, Aaron Parnas was my son. He's a lot more famous than I am. So I'm Aaron's
It's a
dad.
true American success story, right?
Right.
Like you
Yeah,
immigrated to the
exactly.
United States and you
Amazing.
wanted your kid to have a better life, and look at him go.
I mean, I just give him so much props because even though he's my son, but just think about it, he was 19 years old. Forget about what he achieved at such a young age, but just looking back at some of the decisions he made at such a young age, I'm so proud of him because as a father, I was taking him down the wrong path. And I admit it now, and I see it because I thought I was doing good by trying to get him a job at the White House under the Trump administration. And when Trump offered him that job and Aaron turned it down, we had a big riff in the family. I, took it very personally. I'm like, are you crazy? You're getting a job at the White House for the president of the United States, who, yeah, I mean, people would die for that. And he's like,
Oh,
that.
interesting.
And he's like, Dad, I'm good. Like, because he was studying at George Washington University at the time, law school. He was there. And so he already had a lot of pressure being the youngest kid. And he was 19 at law school. He got his law degree at 20 or 21, like it's
Oh my
something
goodness.
ridiculous like that. Right. So he already had all that pressure going on then. And then at 19, while he's about to take his bar exam, studying for that, I get arrested. This whole thing, the pressure of, a lot of people don't even know the pressure he went under with the Southern District of New York. They went after him trying to say because he would sit with me for lunch and Rudy Giuliani was there, they would try to say he was working for Rudy Giuliani, trying to intimidate him, not to a 19-year-old kid. Just think about not to be able to take his bar exam after everything he worked for to achieve. So he went through a lot of pressure. And while I was in prison, he was on his own living in Washington, D.C., got his bar exam, worked for an incredible. And when I got out, I'll never forget, he had that talk with me and said, Dad, I want to do this journalism stuff. I'm going to put my law license on the shelf. And me and my wife, we were like devastated, I'll be honest, because I was like, are you kidding me? After everything to get you to, he's making a good living and he's 22 years old or 23 years old. Like, are you kidding me? This is now, you can't wait till you're 30. Like, go put away some money. Like, what I mean? And
right. I can only imagine. I have a daughter about to start college and we're thinking of all of the economics of it. And after it's all done, her being like, I'm going to do something else. I would be like, what?
Right. But we supported him, not
Yeah.
knowing what's it called. And, as tough as it was, the whole family stood behind him. But he did it all on his own. I mean, none of us knew what he's doing. And he found this incredible niche and what he's doing for the country by being able to be that real source of independent news journalism, which now, especially what we're seeing happening with CNN and all of these major news outlets out there,
exactly.
It's just tremendous. And I'm so proud of him as a father, and and not even as an American. I'm proud to be able to see that we have such young, talented. The fact that he's my son, it just gives me just that extra. It was funny. Like, I'll tell you, I was in Congress walking the halls when Pam Bondi was testifying. I was in there with her. I went to sit in the hall, so it's incredible walking by, and everybody's like, oh, that's Aaron's dad. That's Aaron's dad. Like, it's like to you, like, that's like to you. I was like, man, can I take a picture with you? I love Aaron. Like, oh, okay. I was like, it's
oh
so,
my God, that is so great.
But
it's
as a
such
parent, that's
right?
just so what you want. It's so what you want.
It's amazing. I just can't even tell you. So I'm just so proud of him. And
he really is inspired. Like, he really did kind of pave the way for independent journalism, right? Like, I feel like all of us here on Substack, we're all in some way carving a path as, independent citizen journalists. And Aaron is proving that it's viable, that you can do good work and do good for the country and do well for yourself all at the same time.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him on Substack. I think a lot of people wouldn't, because Substack, if you take a look, Substack was a writer's platform. It was not some big, it was some small little writer's platform. And I don't know, me and Aaron still never had that conversation, how it chose. But I remember, him calling me one day and say, Dad, get off TikTok. I mean, get off all of this stuff. Get on, this incredible new community that's being built. And bless you for the truth. We have that little saying, if you sneeze for truth. And You know what I'm talking about, right?
Tribe here, Lev.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
you guys
we're,
know.
Lev,
We're
I'm pretty
distantly
sure we're related.
My people
Yeah.
emigrated from Russia in the 1880s from
And mine-
Vilnius, back
and
when it
mine
was
came
Wilna,
in the
Russia.
mine came in the 1920s. I think from the
Okay,
same part
yeah.
of Russia you're from.
We're all
So
from,
the diaspora is not that large. We have to be like at most third or fourth cousins, is what I'm
yeah,
figuring.
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure we would have if we do the what's that called, the DNA.
Yeah,
we all
Ancestry or 23andMe,
ancestry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
I
yeah.
did that test. The government's got all my data now, and I really wanted to know what, like, the more detailed country view beyond what my family had told me, and all I got was Central Eastern European Jew, like 96%. That was it. Like,
It was
there's
like,
no diversity
congratulations, you're an
anymore.
Ashkenazi Jew.
Yes, that was all I got back, and I was like, "But from where?" And they're like, you're like, you're just too small a population. We can't even tell." But still, it is all good, and yeah, I figure we're like third or fourth cousins.
Possibly, yeah. So I mean, I'm actually right now while we're talking, I'm watching James Comer out there parading, talking about how, we got Bill Clinton testifying now. This another show that we're watching play
Oh
out
my
there,
God.
just incredible.
And,
We
you know,
have
and
there's
like,
so much fucked up
kind of
news
a good
this week.
segue into the Fucked Up Friday part of the
Let's
show.
go.
Right? Because
Let's get into it.
yesterday, Comer interviewed Hillary Clinton, a former first lady who did not actually know Epstein, as opposed to Melania Trump, who knew Epstein quite well.
Yeah, well, you know what? I just want to say to you that just today we'll break some news on your show. So today what we're doing is we have a subpoena, not subpoena. We have a petition out there to subpoena certain people to go out there. It's an Epstein petition. We have about 36,000 already signatures on it, and I'm planning on taking it to Congress. And
Nice.
so right now we keep adding names. The reason we haven't delivered it yet because as we're getting more names, we're delivering more names. And today we are officially adding Melania Trump to the subpoena list. And that is going to be number one on the list. We need Melania Trump. And that is the one thing that they miscalculated. That's the one thing they were scared of when Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton decided to. And I talked about it as some of the breaking news. Trump, it backfired. He literally called Comer himself. They were trying to cancel and figure out how not to do it because now Melania is in the radar. I do not feel that we were going to see her subpoenaed with this group of people, but the fact that now the precedent has been set, and now as long as, and we'll go into, we have a fair and square elections, I think the first person on the list you're going to see that's going to get subpoenaed when it comes January 20th next year is Melania Trump.
Excellent.
Good.
That is awesome news, Lev.
Good work. The way Fucked Up Friday usually works.
All right, let's go. Tell me.
We usually start off by discussing kind of the big stories of the week, the things everybody's already heard of in the news. And then at the end, we each pitch our stories, which tend to be maybe stories you missed. Other things that happened that got drowned out by the flood, right? There were so many things this week, and with your weirdo friends starting the show, we're so short on time. I have a suggestion.
Let's hear it.
I'm thinking because Lawrence, with his like beautiful DJ voice, Lawrence, can you do like maybe a 60-second rundown of like all the top things we had talked about right before the show,
Well,
and then do our
I don't want
pitches?
to step on Lev's though. We don't know what Lev's story is.
We don't know what Lev's story is. That's
true.
That's true. So maybe
here's a counter proposal. What if we do our Fucked Up Friday stories and get the vote? We've never done it this way before, and get the vote over with, and then we can expand into all of the other fucked up news of the week.
Let's do it.
Time permitting, let's do
let's rock and roll.
Right,
I'm with you guys.
We normally we used to let guests go first, and then we realized that maybe, there's a recency bias, and so now we just let guests pick. Do you want to go first, second, or third when you're pitching your story? And you got to sell it to the crowd, man. You got to really make people want to vote for you as having the most fucked up story.
The fucked up story. Fucked up for the country, right? Like, what's the most?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I always definitely say women go first, so I'm gonna definitely like Dana go first,
Sure.
and then you
Okay.
know what? I'm pretty sure my story is gonna be pretty fucked up, so I'm gonna let Lawrence go after, and
All
then
right, all right.
and I'll try to really fuck up this
Yeah,
this
I love
Friday
that
for you
Levin's like,
guys.
"You're giving me control. I'm telling you the order."
I love it. And I am happy to go first. I had so many stories to pick from. It was hard to narrow down, but as it turned out, the one I picked is related to our first guest today, your weirdo friend. So this is a story from The Guardian. I'm actually going to just cut and paste the link here into the chat, and then I will pitch it. Did that go in? Yes, here it is. Headline: Kansas revokes driver's licenses from trans resident in latest assault on rights. Um, this is a story that any other time I feel like would have been like front and center, top of CNN. This dropped yesterday at about 3 o'clock Eastern time, noon my time. Transgender Kansas residents have begun receiving letters from the state's Department of Motor Vehicles informing them that their driver's licenses will be invalid beginning Thursday. So this dropped Thursday. I assume they mean today.
Yeah, geez.
As the new law goes into effect that demands that forms of identification must now reflect the credential holder's sex at birth. And the bill is known as SB 244. It also bans them from using public bathrooms that don't match their sex at birth gender identity and creates a sort of bounty hunter system. I'm underlining those 3 words, in which citizens can sue transgender people they encounter in restrooms for $1,000 in damages. So I don't want to take up all the time. I'm just going to say they
Go
can't
for it, Dan.
pee. They can't pee where they need to. If they enter a bathroom and the person suspects that that's a trans person in the bathroom, there's going to be a burden of proof, which hurts everyone, because anyone accuses me of being trans and wants to see my junk, they're going to wish they hadn't done that. But also with revoking driver's licenses, you can't get to work, you can't pick up your kids, you can't get groceries, you can't move around. And also with all of the SAVE Act and things that are going on, you probably can't vote, or there's a chance that it will impede your ability to vote. And we all know when Doge came in and laid off, however many people they did, it's taking a very long time right now to get official documents. We're hearing reports of this on Substack. Melissa Corrigan's doing a great job of reporting it, that I think there's like an over 100-day backup now to get a lot of certified documentation that should the SAVE Act go through, you will need to vote if you've changed your name. How long do you think it's going to take for folks in Kansas to redo their licenses in the gender and name of their birth? So
Yeah.
It's interesting your weirdo friend used canary in a coal mine, kind of an old-fashioned expression. I said the same thing right before the show of like, trans folks have been the canary this go
Right.
around. This is the first one that this regime is picking on, but they will not be the last. It's the poem, first they came for the ...
Right.
They've been coming for the trans folks all along. They're revoking their driver's license, their identifications now. Like,
Yeah. Honestly, it reminds me so much of
Yeah.
the Jews in Nazi Germany, right? Like
Yeah.
the trans people in the United States now are the Jews of Nazi Germany, like the group that was
Yeah.
ostracized that everybody came, like
the
and I
scapegoats.
know that queer and trans and gay people were also murdered in Nazi Germany, but good God.
Yeah.
These
Mic
fucking
drop.
assholes,
That's my
man.
pitch.
All
Lawrence,
right.
I
So
think you're up because
yes, I
Lev
will go next.
chose
Lev has determined that I
the
go
order
next.
of things.
Okay, so here's mine, and this one feels particularly personal to me because of where it is. Everyone knows I lived in Seattle for 30 years. I'm back in Indiana now, near my family, but I've always imagined that I'm going to retire back on the West Coast, and I'd always kind of thought that I would end up retiring somewhere outside of Portland, kind of Midwestern Oregon, like Hood River. The Bureau of Land Management has posted a notice that officials intend to log 17 Western Oregon counties for 2.5 million acres or 1 billion board feet of old growth forest in the 17 Western Oregon counties. So this is an area that is the last old growth Douglas fir in the continental United States. And this one is particularly fucked up to me because I know we focus a lot, obviously, on the impending doom of American democracy and how they are going after our democratic system and authoritarianism, and how it's in fact affecting people, how people are being murdered, how people are being ostracized and jailed and killed. But of the things that they are doing that are untake-backable, right? Like, we can't re-alive Alex Preddy and Renee Good and that poor, well, I'm not going to say that in case that's Lev's. But, like, if you cut down the last old growth forest in fucking Oregon, we don't grow it back. Like, it's not coming back. If you cut all of that down and use it, so you could build 52,000 American homes with all of the wood that is being harvested. You could basically build a mid-sized city out of all of the wood that is being harvested in this land. It's returning to 1960s levels, and they're rolling back the environmental protections in this area so that it is Environmental Protection Act, right? So rivers that are some of the last spawning grounds of coho salmon are going to be fucked up because the logging is basically going to trash those rivers and ruin the riparian areas around the river. All of the carbon that's going to get released from this wood is basically like an insane amount of carbon. I know that's not a technical detail, but I'm struggling to find the number here. But it's basically like going to be the worst act of strip deforestation that has happened since the 1978, basically, since the last time the country let shit like this happen.
As a Pacific Northwesterner, that breaks my heart in a million
As a
pieces.
Northwesterner who loves the forests, this is fucking disgusting. If you love the Hood River area and Mount Hood and all of the forests in that area, the hot springs, all of that, they're gonna wipe it out. they're basically completely fucking devastating, just clear cutting the entire thing.
And the environmental impact on that, like climate change and the devastation of the earth, is like we can't even talk about it because we're dealing with the human-made problems that this regime is putting in front of us. But the impact to Earth, to our climate, to our world is, you can't roll that back. We're crossing so many deadlines that they've said if you don't do something by now, we can't reverse it. And to do this, like, who even knows what I'm no environmental scientist, but I have to think that impact of that is just going to be devastating.
No, it's going to be huge. I mean, that's a great topic, Lawrence. Dana and Lawrence, both of you brought up great topics. One dealing with your First Amendment rights, dealing with groups that they're trying to silence, things that they're trying with. Another one is obviously with our environment and the way Trump doesn't believe in global warming, and their administration, is trying to not only. It's one thing not believing, but they're trying to actually go against it. They're trying to, push the limits and take us back, and, we've had already a lot of information saying, okay, we might not feel it, but our kids, our grandkids, our great grandkids are going to feel it. Like I live in Florida, and you already see some of the places that, in the past 30 years that are, when I came here, they were, the water was over here. Now the water's over here. And it's like, and you're seeing the difference, and it's just a matter of time. And so I think both of you, I think those topics were incredible and great. And I think they're very fucked up for Fucked Up Friday.
But what I'm hearing, Lev, is that you're going to be like, but now I'm going to take you down.
Now I'm going to find out.
I do have to jump in, Lev, and ask where you don't need to give the specific address or anything, but are you South Florida?
South Florida. South Florida.
So Lawrence and I grew up in Coral Springs.
Oh, I'm close. Boca. I'm in Boca. Yeah.
Okay.
So
we know Boca very well.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, my mom is in Delray Beach. I just flew back a few days ago. I was just there. We could have We could have gone
give me
to
a
the beach.
call. Absolutely. No, give me a call. Grab coffee. Absolutely. We have a lot of subscribers, that are literally
Oh my
here in
gosh.
Florida.
Next
Yes,
time.
incredible.
I
Yeah.
just
Definitely,
got
definitely,
Next
back.
time we're gonna go grab a
definitely.
bagel. You're gonna tell us where to get the best bagel.
I get you. Yeah. Now we have some good bagels, good pizza. When I came here in '95, we had none of that. We we had,
Dude,
Yeah, we
we
Florida.
know.
lived
We
there in the
grew up there.
70s and 80s,
Yeah.
and like the nearest really good bagel was in Miami. I remember
Yeah.
my dad
Yeah.
piling us
Yes.
into the car so
Yes.
we
There
could
was
go to
one
Miami
place.
to get a decent bagel.
It was a Jewish bagel store on Hollandale Boulevard. So it was
Right?
the
Yeah.
only place. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
That's
God.
a,
Was it the
that's a,
Rascal House? Did you go to the
no, it
Rascal
was
House?
of course I went to the Rascal House. That was Meyer Lansky's place going back in the days also, don't forget. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's a lot of history back here, but I'll tell you, listen, we're living in a very fucked up time right now. There's
Yes.
a lot
Yeah.
of fucked
Sell
up
it.
shit.
Sell us. What do you got?
Yeah,
Yo, let's go.
it's very hard to say which one it is that you want to pick because you could. There's just from the Epstein files to that what ICE is doing to what's happening in or internationally, Venezuela, the tariffs, our economy. We could go on, but I think the most important fucked up thing that's happening that the media has not been talking about that finally we got some validation. I've been sounding the alarm already for the past a little over a month now. For those of you that don't remember, about a month ago, there was an FBI raid in Georgia. And that FBI raid in Georgia had to do with our voting election the rolls. During that raid, it was also announced that Tulsi Gabbard was there, who is the head of our DNI, and there was no reason for her to be there. People couldn't understand. I reported on it and broke the news literally within a few days later about
I
what
remember.
transpired. There's a plan that was put together by Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, Rick Grinnell, our CIA director, Kash Patel, and Pam Bondi. And Georgia was the grounds of where they were going to go look into election fraud. But not only election fraud, and this is very important because this is why Tulsi Gabbard is there. This is why this is as fucked up as it gets, is because they are now they were working on the idea to say that there was foreign interference, not Russian foreign interference, but Chinese foreign interference. I've been speaking
Mm.
about this for a month. The reason why I've been speaking about this for a month and sounding the alarm is because Trump can't hold it in his pants. And about 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, he literally came out and said, I want to federalize elections. The media went crazy saying, oh my God, he wants to federalize. He can't do that. They got all these pundits on TV that would tell you it's state by state. Nobody's going to, he won't be able to do it. But what they couldn't understand that was part of the plan. He wanted them to chase that fake narrative of federalizing the election because what he was really meant by federalizing the election is there's a law. There's a law called the National Emergency Law. It's an act that the president has. And if there's foreign interference in our election, the president gets to announce and invoke this National Emergency Act. It's extremely important because a lot of us have been talking about this for a while about insurrection law that he's going to do. Not he's going to do the what's it
Right.
called?
The Insurrection Act.
It's Insurrection Act. That he's going to do all of that, but with what was going on with ICE and what was happening, my source had been telling me that that was not a place they wanted to go. They didn't want to shut the country down military wise and make it. It didn't work. What happened in Venezuela didn't work. So basically, they needed a new, and this was Plan B that's been working for the past 6 months. And now, yesterday, the Washington Post finally broke the story and what we've been talking about, and they basically said that Donald Trump and they are looking to that there's a group actually, and I'll just quote them out of here. Literally, it says, "quote." There's an activists who say they are in coordination with the White House that are circulating a draft executive order that claims China interfered in the 2020 elections as a basis to declare a national emergency that would unlock extraordinary presidential powers over voting. Now, what that means, folks, just so you understand, that means they would be able to do away with ban mail-in voting. They would mandate rigid voter ID, and the most important part, this is the one I want you to understand. That's so fucked up. It would give the president power over how the ballots are cast, but more importantly, how they are counted nationwide. So there's nothing more fucked up than that, folks. And we need to make sure that we, spread the word as far as wide as possible. I've been in Washington, D.C. these past couple of days, spoke to several Congress people. They're fucking don't even know what to say or to do. When I told them this, and then the Washington Post came out afterward. So, folks, sound the alarm, because we need to head them off at the game. We need to call every congressperson, Congress senator, and make sure, just like we did with the Epstein files, just like we kept them in the loop. Right now, we have to make sure, no matter what, we make sure that that we know what they're planning on doing, that we will not allow them. China did not interfere in the elections in Georgia, and he is not to be able to use the National Act, because if he does do that, folks, it's game over. We're fucked.
Yeah.
We're literally fucked. Yeah.
Okay, folks, this is the way the game works. If you're voting for Dana and Dana's story about the Kansas transgender driver's license fuck up, put Dana in the chat. If you're voting for me and the BLM saying that they are harvesting the last old growth forests in Oregon, put Lawrence in the chat. And if you, like me, are voting for Lev and his story about how we're all completely, supremely fucked, thank you, Lev. Put Lev in the chat.
Oh my gosh. I will say, this is so interesting. You can probably see I'm a little distracted by my computer. I see two separate lives, and one has about twice as many people, but it says upgrade to join chat for me. So I if you can't vote in the chat, our apologies, because usually people weigh in with comments. And no, we'll look into it. I can't.
Lev, you're running away with it over here. I'm looking at the chat. Dana and I each got some nice pity votes, but Lev is the unabashed winner of this week's Fucked Up Friday, and deservedly so, because that is literally the most fucked up thing. Like all of our other things, right? Like Dr. G and their advocacy, and the trans driver's license issue, caring for our forests, none of that fucking matters. If Trump can declare a national emergency and literally dictate the elections, we are absolutely fucked. It will take an armed revolution at that point to get him out of power. And there's just not.
Our side doesn't have
good
the
to say
guns
about that. Lev, we want to be really respectful of your time. We've only got you for 3 more minutes. But we always ask the question of our first-time guests.
Please.
As we close, it's a real hard hitter.
It is. Get ready for it. Get ready
Dana,
for it.
Do you want to ask the question?
I would love to. So I'm not sure. I believe you may, like us, be a member of Gen X. But this is the question. It's Gen X focused. What is the most Gen X song of all time? And we like to think of it as you're watching a movie. It's trying to show that you are in a moment in time that's Gen X focused. What song is playing in the background?
Oh my God, that's so bad. I'm so bad with songs.
It's okay. There are no wrong answers.
If it's like some, Russian pop song from your far youth, like, let us know.
No, I would say, me growing up, I would have to say Wu-Tang, Cash Rules Everything Around Me, Cream, Get Your Money, Dollar Bill, y'all.
Oh my God, I was not expecting that. That's a great
nice.
I remember that song. Actually, it brings me back to memories when I started working on Wall Street. That's when that song, it was in the 90s, and the song became famous. And we would just I was working with that, if you guys remember, Wolf of Wall Street. So I was in that penny stock. So we would come into the office, all these guys, pinstripe suits, and blast the song Dollar, and everybody would get on the. So you just brought me back some memories. A little story time.
Nice. I love that. That is a great answer. I don't think anyone has given that answer so far.
Definitely not. We have not had that one. And Jason Odell, a fabulous regular of the Daily Whatever Show, has pulled together playlists on Spotify and on Apple Music for everyone's answers.
Oh, I love it.
That start coming in. So we have got to add that one.
That link to the playlist. Lev, I don't care what Donald Trump and Michael Cohen say about you. You're a delight. You're a fucking delight, man.
Fuck
And you
those
are
guys.
welcome back here. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, I
You are
haven't shown
welcome
off
back
Those
my
here
guys.
t-shirt.
anytime you want.
Oh, I
My
love
fuck
that
Trump
t-shirt.
t-shirt.
I love that
Yeah,
t-shirt.
Lawrence designed it,
Oh,
so I wear it
actually,
every Friday.
yeah, no, I have some actually. I am honored and thank you for having me, and I definitely will be back on. I have
Oh
some
my,
actually next week. I've been working on something very important, and I'm just to
oh,
let all your subscribers and viewers know we're gonna have some major announcement coming next week on something that uh breaking that you're not even ready for. It's gonna be
All
something
right.
very big.
ooh,
Wednesday or Thursday, so stay tuned.
Yep.
Hopefully, we get the story done, but it's going to be tremendously breaking news. Stay
oh my
tuned for it
gosh.
Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, I think we're gonna be doing on the Midas Touch Network to make sure
Okay.
that it goes. Yeah, but it's gonna be pretty big. So
Nice.
stay tuned,
Okay.
guys.
Well, go
Anything we
everyone.
can
If you're
do.
not already subscribed to Lev, please. What are you thinking? Go subscribe to Lev. You got to do
Yes.
that. Become a paid subscriber to Lev. Help him continue, this independent journalism thing. Breaking news next week. And Lev, what else can people do to support you?
Biggest thing is what I ask everybody is to sign our petition, the Epstein petition, and that is to make sure that we have accountability and justice for the survivors and accountability to these perverts and these important people.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, besides support, obviously growing our community, I also ask everybody to go out there and subscribe to you guys and others, and like my son Aaron and people like what's it called, Nick Prado and
Leonard and
Ellie
yeah.
Leonard and
Yeah.
All the crew, because independent journalism is what we have right now going, and that's the only thing we have to be able to have our voices and have our First Amendment rights heard. So we need to push it. We need to keep it strong, because people don't realize how that is right now probably the most important thing that we have on the fight for our survival. Because if we lose our First Amendment right, if independent journalism gets shut down,
Yeah.
you don't understand how quickly the brainwashing happens. And I was there. When you sit in a room and for a year all you see is Fox News and you hear the only thing, trust me when I tell you, you do not understand. It's like a drug. People don't realize it. And
Yeah.
and the brain, as powerful as our brain is to learn stuff and explore, as also as powerful it is to narrow down and make you think that you're right when you're living in a totally different world. And that's why information is the key, independent journalism is the key, and that's why all of you out there support your independent journalists out there. That's why Substack is so great. And if you can, become paid subscribers, because none of us have corporate sponsors, none of us have the Elon Musks of the world. We are all grassroots movements, and it's all because of you. We're able to do it. We all have kids, we all have family, but we've chosen this to be able to give you the information to save our democracy. So for me, help the whole community, because the quicker the community grows, I don't even consider myself a journalist, folks. I was one of the inside. I'm just here to tell the truth. I'm here to make sure that you, as independent journalists, could break the news, could carry the news, to get it out to all the people, because I'm a little different. I'm on the fight to save our democracy from the inside out. So thanks to all of you guys.
100% same. Rising
Yes.
tides lift all boats. And this is one of the last holdouts where you can still get real news. So
Yeah.
I look to you, Lev, and Zev and Dean and Waj and all, like, you're the ones breaking. Whenever something happens, I'm like, I know those guys are going to be going live any minute now, and
Before
we're
I
going to
turn
hear what's
on,
going on.
at the TV, I go see what you're saying about it, what Dean or Waj or those guys are saying about it, because I know who's going to tell me the truth. I know that Aaron's going to deliver the straight up real truth. So yeah.
And we try to stay in our community, and like when we have news, we try to spread it beside to make sure we validate, make sure that, because the key to it is to make sure that the truth. But again, guys, thank you so much for having me. Continue doing the great work. Definitely be back on, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Speak truth to power.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you to everyone for joining us. Love you, mean it.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.